everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. I might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. That's all I'm
Mm.
saying. And another thing, it feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
Accomplices
Oh,
out.
I actually know that's true. Anti-whites who are white, it does feed into their ego when non-white people will befriend them and talk to them and hang out with them. It absolutely does. And those kind of white people are slimy. So I kind of identify with that villainous anti-white that was just talking. I kind of feel the same way because those kinds of white people are slime. You know, if you're a non-white person and you hang out with me, you're just another person to me. I don't feel like, oh, can I coddle up to you because I'm this awful white person? No way. All right, what does this character say? Is this an American Indian? Okay, I'm guessing.
Ask how can they support Black and Indigenous people of color? And sometimes I really don't know what to say, but here's one easy way: just don't have babies.
Mm. Wow, I'm not going to be able to stop. I don't know how many of these he shares, but I know I feel an urge to be like every one of them. But don't have children. Now, let me just ask you this: what do you see now? These anti-whites that Charlie has just shown here, neither one of them were like wearing a furry costume, right? Neither one of them. They were like normal people. Could work where you would see them at work, right? You'd see them out in the world. They'd be functioning out in the world. They both spoke coherently. They weren't wearing like a unicorn horn on their head and believe in attempting to reproduce with bags of flour or something. Although they might do that at other points. Otherwise, they're speaking normally. Now, let me ask you something. Are their statements, just those first two statements, are those statements that are at odds with what we see in the tenor and the thrust of administrations at universities, at state and county governments, at the federal government? Are those statements at odds with? Are those statements at odds with what we see in the military and the social engineering that we're seeing there? Are those statements at odds with the media? No, not at all. So any attempt to dismiss these individuals, these first two at least, and I'm going to guess it's probably going to be most of the others. This one I saw when I was jumping through. What a character. But any attempt to dismiss these people of, oh, you just went out and found a crazy person. I could go out and find crazy white people making idiotic statements. And let me tell you, boy, you're right about that, aren't you? I mean, we just left a bunch of them behind. Thank the good Lord. Please, thank you for this. Thank you. We're away from those folks. They absolutely could, because there are some really sick fixators out there who are playing the villain in the anti-white narrative. But what don't we see with them? We don't see the attitudes and opinions in made evident, concretized in government, in media, at universities. The idea, for example, of white people don't reproduce has been ongoing since I've seen advertisements going all the way back to the 1950s. You have it going back then all the way. I mean, in my opinion, check it out for yourselves. And you see every time there's a commercial, every time it's about Planned Parenthood, every time about abortion, it's a white woman, a white family going without children. And then when they depict non-white people, I mean, all the way to like Walmart commercials, it's this wonderful brood of children and they're beautiful and they're making the memories. And I want them to be beautiful and make their memories. But the white people, it's you're living your best life, white people, when you don't have children. So was this guy that he just listened to, that he just played there, was that some crank from out in the foothills or the hinterlands that he had to go dig up? No. That is the common opinion across every vista in the West. Now, this one I saw this one when I jumped through, and here's some kind of like a online prostitute, some kind of like an e-slut, and she's like, let's just biologically white erase Western kind by having all the white men breed with the Asian women. No, thank you.
Handedly caused the white genocide that they are so afraid of. With 2.25 billion Asian women and 500 million white men.
So I got to just say, God, it's driving me nuts that they're so afraid of, like, you'd be okay with being erased, that it's something that we have to demonstrate that we're brave and tough and we're okay with ourselves being genocided. Go off. We're not afraid of it because we're not going to let it happen, Cupcake.
Baby, it'll only take 2 generations. In 2 generations, there will no longer be any blonde-haired.
These are some things I know.
All right, so let me no longer be any blonde-haired. I don't know how many he's going to do again, but let's see how many of them are jaywalkers, because that anti-white, and this is why what matters is whether or not a person is anti-white or not, anti-white or serving white well-being. That's what matters. That's all that matters. If she were in charge, could you imagine? And make no mistake, there are other anti-whites of her ethnic and racial heritage in charge at places, and it's their anti-whitism that makes them evil. She was just talking about genociding us and wanting to do that, biologically white erasing us.
Noticed about white American culture, being grounded is a punishment to them. That's what they call punishment. The least grounded, least balanced, most destructive race considers being grounded a punishment. Yeah.
Also, it's something you can do, obviously, on all media platforms if you're anti-white, is you can stereotype a whole race of people. I, as a white man on TikTok, I guess it was, couldn't even criticize some white women. I criticized some white women, and that was enough to be banned repeatedly over there. But these people, they could just, because they're anti-white.
People say really violent phrases. They say things like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Not us. We say feed 2 birds with 1 seed. But she's criticizing that. That obviously came from history where, I'm assuming it did, where you had to kill something to eat it and therefore survive. This is like, what's she going to say next? Like, nail 2 nails with 1 hammer? Look at those white people talking about working again.
Why do we have to kill the birds? Why is everything so violent?
Oh, boy. Gosh, talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
It's almost like one's language and phrases reflects one's nature.
Almost. Yeah, almost.
So that new Jeffrey Dahmer movie on Netflix is the perfect example
of what? Her private life? She looks crazy.
Of the sensationalization of white violence.
Sensationalization of white violence?
People have a much easier time sympathizing with white criminals than they do with black victims. People think these shows are harmless, but they actually contribute to a much bigger issue. It contributes to the viewpoint that white people are less violent than everyone else, and white violence is something to be consumed in media.
Could you imagine watching media anywhere in the West and coming to the conclusion that the media is being fair or benefiting white people? How much must you truly hate the white race? And let me tell you about an argument here for multiracialism. How well do people of different groups get along when they have numerical courage? How well? You can learn about numerical diffidence and numerical courage in the Go Free lexicon, which you can find in the Go Free book, which is available at Amazon and is available on NoWhiteGuiltCollectibles.com with a signature from yours truly. And it's a beautiful signature, I must say, and soon to be an audiobook.